Hey, this is Cody Rhodes, and you're listening to WNS.
You are now tuned in to the WNS podcast. For all of your wrestling info, go to WrestlingNewsSource.com or check us out on Facebook by searching WrestlingNewsSource.com or WNS Podcast. You can also find us on YouTube, Twitter, Stitcher, and iTunes by searching Wrestling News Source Podcast or WNS Podcast. Now being broadcast in over 45 countries, here are your hosts, Daniel Herron, Tyler Abear, and Doug. That's right. What's up, everyone? I am Daniel Herron.
Yo, I'll be Tyler Abear.
And we welcome you to episode 290 of the official podcast for WrestlingNewsSource.com.
And away.
For all of your information, go to WrestlingNewsSource.com. Check us out on Facebook, WrestlingNewsSource.com. You can find us on Facebook, WNS Podcast, on YouTube, WNS Video, and on iTunes, Wrestling News Source Podcast.
10 away from 300.
That is correct. Good Spartans.
Lord. Wow.
Yeah.
Time flies.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't we start this like a year ago?
Nope.
Oh.
Many years ago.
Many years ago.
Yeah.
When I was a wee lad.
Yeah.
You can follow us on Stitcher, Beyond Pod, and Player.fm. Just search Wrestling News Source Podcast to find us.
You can also follow us on Twitter at WNS Podcast.
Twitter.
On Twitter, you can follow me on Twitter at WNS_Daniel. You can follow Tyler on Twitter at Tyler_Abear.
And you cannot find Doug on Twitter because he does not have Twitter.
Well, he has Twitter.
Oh, does he?
But he uses the podcast. He checks it through the podcast.
Oh, that's how he
He's
checks
sneaky.
out the situation.
He's sneaky. So welcome to the show. We have got a stacked show for you guys this week. We got some feedback, talk about Raw, talk about Smackdown, give you our predictions for Backlash. Doug's not here this week, but we got his predictions anyways.
Stacked show, just like the stacked hamburger I ate this past weekend.
Absolutely. Sure. Yeah. We're going to talk about the Cruiserweight Classic. We're going to talk about some hot topics, some WWE 2K17 news, and of course, you heard him in the intro, giving us the little name drop, our interview with the one and only Cody Rhodes. So very cool stuff. So
can't wait.
Do not go anywhere because we've got a lot to talk about. If you want to skip ahead just to get to the Cody Rhodes interview, go to that and then come back and hear what we think about Backlash. So thank you very much for tuning in. We certainly appreciate everybody. Tyler, how you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Yeah, 2-man show this week.
2-man show.
You got this.
Lately, there's stressful things in people's lives.
Yep.
You dwell on it. There's also the good things in life.
Good things.
Like family.
Family, yes. Family's
Food.
important. Food is also nice. I like food.
Video games.
Video games are quite nice. What video games are you playing right now?
Actually, Pokemon.
Yeah.
Really? I've been back and forth to Houston.
You still playing Pokemon Go?
No, I dropped it. I dropped it.
That's sad.
If you're not moving, then it's pointless.
Yeah.
But I'm just trying to finish some Pokemon games I've never finished before because I dropped them a long time ago. And since my dad got in the hospital and stuff, and I go back and forth, my wife will drive up there, and I'm playing Pokemon.
There you go.
So, and it's hard to catch Pokemon Go. It's hard to catch them on the highway.
Well, you're not supposed to be playing on the highway.
Well, I'm not driving.
Oh, okay.
So,
well, I guess
but
that's
still.
acceptable.
Yeah, because he'll ask you, you're going too fast. Are you driving? I'm like,
no, I'm a passenger, damn it.
I'm a passenger, but I'm also driving. No.
Lies.
So I've been playing that, but my time will be diverted whenever 2K17 comes out. So, yeah.
Interesting. Not too much longer.
Not too much longer, but
getting close.
Everything's been
little
going
more than a month away.
This is the time where it feels like slow, you know, to me, because
the announcements have been made, and now there's not really a whole lot.
I don't know if it was last year. I lose track of time, or the time before that. But there was one year where I'm gonna get it, I'm gonna play it, but I wasn't like super pumped for it. But this year, oh my gosh!
I think it was last year where you weren't as pumped, and then a couple years ago, I know you were very pumped because we found out about Predator technology.
Yes, I did. That was the greatest. If you don't know what Predator technology is, it means that this year's game is better than last year's, and then I'm going to throw up my hands up in the air.
Randy Orton.
Yeah.
That is the quote.
So, I want to find that on YouTube. And
good luck. Yeah. I don't know if anyone recorded that. That was the SummerSlam weekend all-access thing that they did.
But other games, I'm interested in Injustice 2.
Yeah.
Played the first one. It was a good storyline. What else? I still haven't. Well, I already beat The Witcher. I'm playing through it again so I can try to beat the DLC, but I haven't had time to play it.
Yeah.
So
I've been playing the heck out of No Man's Sky.
Yeah. So you got the level 2 pass yet?
No, not yet. But I'm kind of taking my time. You know, I go to a planet. I like to explore it. I like to learn all the new words and everything like that. Go here, do there, upgrade my ship. I think I've fully maxed out my exosuit, which is 48 slots, I believe.
Nice.
So, making progress here and there whenever I get to play it. Because I only get to play it for a few hours.
I think it was 2 weekends ago, maybe. My friend Sushan came down, and he wanted to play it. He was skeptical about it, wanted to play it. And then he went on a planet which had these little, like, cubes and stuff. They're, like, rare. But, like, I found, like, 10 of them.
A lot of them,
yeah. I was like, wow, this must be the planet where they're on.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you got to sell this? He goes, no, we got to keep it. I was like, no, you got to sell it. This doesn't.
Yeah.
It's not going to be for something else. It just says it's rare. It doesn't say it's supposed to be for ingredient for another thing.
Well, it might be a little bit later on, but
later on if there's some sort of expansion or something, because it usually says this chemical or this whatever is going to be made for this, and it didn't say any of that. It just says it's rare.
Well, the higher up you level your suit up and your ship, the more stuff it needs. So eventually you might need something like that.
I'll tell you what, when you first start out and you build your ship up, you get a little more spots and stuff in your suit and your ship. But if you don't have the proper stuff, it's a pain in the butt to try to get another ship going.
Yeah, because you got to prioritize your suit.
It's like, oh no, but I got to find this one thing. Where am I going to find this at?
Yeah. Know? But let's dive into the show, because like I said, we have a ton to cover this week. First bit of feedback we have is from James, saying when guys get too hot, they tend to lose to Cena. Although you could, beg to differ for AJ Styles. He ended up winning that series. But, I get what you mean. And Tyler, I myself am ready for October 11th for the game. So,
yeah.
So thanks, James.
By the time this comes out, the gameplay trailer is already going to be out, the first gameplay trailer. But while we're recording this, it's not out yet.
Yeah.
So.
You're waiting for 11 o'clock.
Yes.
For AJ Styles.
Flying bip.
You're gonna wait for it.
You want the flying bip, then ass to mouth.
Nope. None of that. Final bit of feedback we have is from Seth Rickson, saying, good show. Stand strong, Doug. Just remember, they hate us because they ain't us. So, nice.
They don't want none.
No?
They don't want none.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So, man, what a crazy week. I don't know, did you get to watch last week's Cruiserweight Classic?
No.
Man, you missed some good matches there. That was probably the best.
That was after the Ibushi and...
It was Grand Metalik versus Akira Tozawa and Kota Ibushi versus the Brian Kendrick. Yeah.
The only thing I saw pictures of it, and I know that Brian was hugging on Kendrick.
Brian was hugging Brian?
Yeah, Brian was hugging on Brian. That's funny, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, both matches were phenomenal. The storytelling for the Kota Ibushi and the Brian Kendrick match was very well done. I mean, they really made him look like the sympathetic Cinderella story. This is my last hope kind of thing.
They're doing something. They're doing some good things on the Classic.
Oh, absolutely. That is match by match the most phenomenal show going in the WWE universe right now. I mean, it's topping NXT.
Ooh.
Well, because NXT, when you look at their takeovers, they're all phenomenal. When you look at the shows, there's a few.
There's some shows it's like, oh, hey, we're gonna review.
We'll review what happened. You'll see a couple matches. Yeah,
And I mean, that's. I guess
that
nothing
happens.
wrong with. Yeah,
that happens. There's nothing wrong with that. Like this week, Shinsuke is going up against someone who's not in the title picture, so it's like, oh, I wonder who's going to win that. Asuka is going up against someone who's not in the title picture. Wonder who's going to win that. It's just some of the match. They're hits and misses, but overall, NXT is a good product.
Yes.
Raw, not so much the case. Couple matches here and there that are good. A lot of bad. SmackDown, more of a 50-50 kind of thing, I think, this week. But the Cruiserweight Classic, my God. I mean, if you're a fan of just...
Let's have a discussion about the Classic.
Okay.
And Raw.
Do
you think they're going to have the same caliber matches they have on the Cruiserweight Classics on Raw?
Oh. Yes and no. I mean, obviously
they're gonna have to cut it short.
Yeah, and that's the thing that bothers me. They have 3 hours to fill, and yet they don't have enough matches to fill 3 hours. I don't understand. So hopefully, with the Cruiserweight Classic, with what people have seen on the Classic who follow Raw, and for the new, the current I only watch Raw or I only watch SmackDown wrestling fans, I hope that they allow the Cruiserweights time to shine, time to show what they can really do.
The Cruiserweight should have been on SmackDown.
I agree. I completely agree, especially when you got Daniel Bryan as your general manager. But you also have to think, Raw's got the bigger roster because they have more hours to fill. They have an extra hour.
Breaking news, SmackDown's going to 3 hours.
Oh, God. I don't think I could do it. I don't think so. I mean, I would, but I'd have to cut back on, just about anything else in my life that isn't a priority. Because
you know what's not a priority in my life?
A third hour of SmackDown?
Life.
Oh.
It's only wrestling.
Only wrestling.
Only
All right.
wrestling.
All right. So, but yeah, dude, if you guys are not watching the Cruiserweight Classic, you're doing a severe injustice to yourself. You got to go back and check out these matches because all of these guys are looking to shine. So, all of these guys are hungry. All of these guys want to put on that great match for you, and all of them have delivered so far. There's been like 1 or 2 matches where I was like, this one didn't really deliver. But all of them have left the crowd like speechless and, really great moments, high-flying action, hard hits, fast movements. Just, it's a total package of wrestling.
Yeah.
It's not... I mean, it's got the high flyers. It's got the ground and pound. It's got the technical workers.
Oh, sure.
Like Jack Gallagher. Didn't know anything about him going into this tournament. He is my new favorite guy.
That's the thing I like. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like about knowing about the guys on the indies that are hot and stuff coming into WWE. I'm like, I'm so pumped. But I also like the guys I've never heard of.
The surprises.
Because I'm like, like you said, you're surprised. You see this guy. This is my new guy. You know? How cool is that?
I mean, just the way that Jack Gallagher carried himself in the ring, like he's the dapper gentleman. And then whenever he gets into a hold, you can tell, like through his movements, through his eyes, he's telling the story of, okay, what's my next move? How am I going to process this? If I go here, then this will work.
What's so funny?
Go here, that'll work.
Brian loves him.
Yeah.
Because that's how Brian used to be on the indies.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yep. And, We'll talk about it a little bit later. Obviously, with her interview with Cody Rhodes, he mentioned some of the cruiserweights as well. It's just, the evolution of wrestling is changing, and I think it's for the better. I hope that the WWE allows these guys to just go ham and do what they do.
We will see.
Or are they going to have to convert to the WWE style, anyways? So yeah, make sure you're watching the Cruiserweight Classic. The new episode is airing probably right now.
How many more episodes do you think they got?
There's this match, which goes into the semifinals, and then there's one or 2 matches, and the winner of those matches are in the finals.
Who's still in the tournament?
There's Grand Metalik. There is Kota Ibushi, and then
Rich Swann.
Then that's the other 2 matches to determine who goes
Rich
to the...
Swann and TJ Perkins.
And Zack Sabre Jr., I believe. I think. I don't know. I'd have to pull up the tournament list. Let's see. Cruiserweight Classic.
That's going to be a hard one. I don't even know who I would want to win out of TJ Perkins and Rich Swann because I like them equally.
Yeah, on tonight's show, Zack Sabre Jr. versus Noam Dar, TJ Perkins versus Rich Swann. So both of those matches, I'm sure, are going to absolutely kill. Mm-hmm. And then the finals, September 14th, is where we'll see the final, the semifinal match, and then the final, the 2 semifinal matches, and then the final match. And I think that's going to be live. So. Stay tuned for that one because that's gonna be crazy. So yeah, Raw this week I felt was kind of subpar. I was not really into it. There were
you didn't feel it like it was the Kevin Owens show.
some of it, yes, and then the third hour of Raw happened, and the whole Gallows and Anderson and Old Day, New Day, that thing just sucked the freaking life out of me. I could not care much anymore after that. I was seeing a lot of negativity.
I wish they would just drop the old folks stuff, whatever.
Yeah, the old farts.
Just be like, we're gonna jump you.
Just be badass monsters.
I'm gonna beat the shit out of you. Like, we're like badass guys. I know y'all are 3.
How
were
they
two,
in New Japan? Because I didn't follow them whenever they're in New Japan.
I did not either. So I talked to Doug
That's
about
a question
that.
for Doug, yeah. Because I highly doubt that they did like comedy shtick in their time in Japan.
But they, from the interview and stuff I've read, they've did certain goofy stuff. I thought they said, and I don't know if this is like WWE telling them what to say, but with the interviews, I don't know where I read it, but they were saying like, oh, they're letting us do what we want to do.
Just give them free reign. If that's the case, man, someone's got to step in and be like, look, this ain't working. Like, we got to get you guys something else, because this segment was awful. And there aren't too many segments that involve the New Day that I will say are awful. But this one was awful.
I chuckled when, like, I know it was timed, but like when like Kofi and like the old Kofi and old Xavier were saying the same thing as like Kofi and Xavier when they're coming out, I chuckled at that.
That was about it. That was probably the only funny segment, the only part of this segment.
Oh, Biggie, you got gout, like Grandpa? You got gout?
It was terrible. I mean, I would really like to know who found this entertaining. The crowd certainly didn't find it entertaining. They were bored. It was so bad. So bad.
Where were they?
I don't remember. But
because I questioned like certain things that
no, because the crowd was hot as hell whenever Owens first came out.
Oh yeah, that. But there was another thing I questioned him on, which I'll get to later.
Well, go ahead and talk about it.
The whole Sasha Banks thing. I don't know if you heard them, but okay, no one knew what she was going to do. Maybe some people could tell that she was going to fake or whatever. Mm-hmm. But she was trying to, because I thought maybe she was hurt so bad she can't wrestle again.
Yeah.
And people were like, "You tapped out, and stuff like that." You heard like stupid shit in the audience.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Like I heard more things. I'm like, really? This is how you're gonna?
Mm-hmm. All the people, for the whole time you've been chanting, "We want Sasha," and then you get her, and now you're gonna berate her for submitting in a match. Like, come on. Yeah, this segment I thought was really bad too. Props to Sasha Banks for showing that she has that kind of range of tearing up, getting emotional. The doctor said this.
I felt like she go, whatever she did, or she breathe,
her voice would crack.
Oh my gosh! And she's trying to get her composure. I bit.
Yeah,
I'm a dumbass, but
it was for the way that it was executed in the end, to have Dana Brooke come out, act like she was going to attack.
I knew it when she came out. And I'm like, it has
and
to be
I did
legit.
too.
Yeah.
And that's the problem, because you spend 2 hours, 2.5 hours, however long it was, building up to this big announcement, only to have, you have Sasha Banks, who shows her range, gets emotional, gets crying. The doctors, I've been talking to the doctors, and then you cut her off to have Dana Brooke come out, and then she says, "Oh, the bad news wasn't for the fans, it was for Charlotte. So you better tell her that I'm going to fight for the belt."
If they were going to, they could have done it this way, in my opinion. Let her do all that stuff, and here comes, what's her face?
Charlotte?
No.
Dana?
Dana. Come through the audience and jump her from behind. What about that?
No.
And she starts beating up on Sasha, and Sasha turns it around.
No, because the whole time that they built it up as she's got bad news. She's like, this is something bad. Mm-hmm. Not, oh, Sasha Banks has a huge announcement. What could it be? We'll have to find out later. It was, oh, she's got bad news to deliver.
My bad news is for Charlotte. I'm going to beat that bitch's ass.
I'm going to stand in the middle of this ring for 5.5 minutes or however long it was that she was in there. I'm going to act. I'm going to choke up. I'm going to get tearful. I'm going to get emotional, only in hopes that Dana or Charlotte will come out, try to attack me so that I can tell them, nope, I fooled you. Haha. That's what my problem is.
Yeah.
Now, if she would have come out and said, without doing the emotional, I've worked so hard to get here. Now, I'm not taking anything away because she did a phenomenal job. But it was the fact that it's so hard to try to describe it.
I was trying to lure that bitch out so I can knock her the fuck out.
I mean, was that her plan to deceive the audience? Because that's not something that a good person does. You don't lie to the fans.
Hey.
You led them on.
With WWE, good guys do bad things now these days.
Yeah. But
nothing surprising me.
That was a big issue for me. Because you're talking about being an influence to all the little girls watching. Every time you step in this ring, it's to influence those girls to be better, to do better. And then you sit there and lie by being deceitful. That's where I have the issue.
Well, didn't John Cena do stupid stuff like that before? Or not
really.
Not to that extent, but he was being a little bit of dick in different promos and stuff like that. And he's always a good guy.
He's done that. Yes. But you don't lead the crowd on thinking that you're going to retire only to have the bad news be directed towards one person. If the bad news is directed towards one person, you come out and say, hey, you guys know me. I've been dealing with a lot of injuries in the past. I've talked to the doctors, but I'm cleared, bitches. Just something like that.
What
not
about,
necessarily saying
I know
bitches,
it's kind of the same, but different. What about Mark Henry?
Mark Henry was different because, okay. In the same aspect, it's the same. However, if Charlotte had been in the ring and she comes out and said, listen, you were the better person, you won, whatever happened at SummerSlam, it happened. You're the champ now. Unfortunately, I got some bad news. I've talked to the doctors. If she had done that with Charlotte in the ring, instead of hoping that Dana or Charlotte would come out, it would have been more like Mark Henry. Where Mark Henry, he knew what he was doing. He came out when John Cena was in the ring. He said, no, man, I'd like you to be here for me while I give this moment, only to turn on John Cena. He didn't say, hey, a Stillsby boy done proud, John Cena, come out here and shake my hand. That's if they would have done it that way, I would have the same exact complaints. Why are you doing this? Not to mention he was heel at the time. Mm-hmm. And then, if he has the emotional, sentimental feelings, the crowd turns for him. Oh, we love you, Mark Henry. Thanks for everything you've done. Then he turns on you again. I've got a lot more left in the tank. But yeah, so you've got Sasha coming out. Big announcement. Bad news. What could it possibly be? You're getting emotional. Oh, shit, she's going to retire. Then however, for whatever reason, Dana decides to interrupt instead of letting her finish what she was going to say. Say, I've got to take some time off. Dana comes out. Oh, boo-hoo, boo-hoo. You're hurt. Get over it. Let the real women wrestle. And then Sasha could turn and be like, yeah, I got to take some time off to get ready for my match against Charlotte.
I'll see you at Backlash.
But I don't know. That's just me ranting for a little bit. So if I'm wrong, let me know that I'm wrong. If I'm right, let me know that you think I'm right. Either way, we would like for our listeners to voice their opinions as well. So go to our Facebook page, go to our YouTube channel, whatever you got to do. Let us know what you thought about Sasha and her announcement. The Raw was very local talent friendly. I was almost expecting Braun to go up against another local talent because Braun! And what I had talked about last week came to fruition. It just came a week later than I was expecting.
You were correct, sir.
Sin Cara saying, hey, man.
It wasn't you named a few things that came, right? Didn't you also?
I've named several things that happened later on. But what were you?
Didn't you say something, or did I say Alicia Fox? Did we say something about Alicia Fox and Nia Jax? I said Summer Rae, didn't I?
I think I might have said Summer Rae, and you might have thrown out Alicia Fox. And then, lo and behold, it was as soon as they showed the picture with her and Alicia Fox, I was like, oh, there's your feud. There's your first enhancement talent on the roster. But But yes, they showed Sin Cara in the back, and he's like, hey, you don't pull the luchador's mask off. I'm here to teach him respect, blah, 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 blah. But then he ran into Braun! And
I'm so, like, I know the games are always going to be, like, a year behind, but that sucks that theme is not in, it's going to be in this game.
Yeah.
Because I like
and that's what I don't like about the game, because it comes out, it comes out, and then like a month before it comes out, they change everything.
Oh, it's constantly.
Sin Cara's got a new theme. Braun's got a new theme. He's got a new look. They've got the new titles that aren't going to be in the game. The new stage that's not going to be in the new game. The ring posts that aren't going to be in the new game. The commentators that aren't going to be in the new game.
Superstars that are in a game that are not going to be with WWE anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I like that. I mean, I'm not a big, like, metalhead or whatever like that, but I did like this song. Like, what the hell?
Like, I know it's supposed to be him just yelling, bro, but I'm saying Braun regardless.
Yeah.
You know, we've made, it's no, strange fact that we have countlessly made fun of Braun and compared him to Revenge of the Nerds, Ogre.
Well,
nerds!
He has a different look now, but.
Yes, he does. With the shaved sides and all that, but
that's why I stopped saying it now.
Yeah.
It's like he let me down.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You'll be okay.
He's not Ogre anymore.
No, he's not. He's
Braun! He's Braun. Brawny.
Braun Strowman. So he made short work of Sin Cara, and Jax made short work of a local talent who happened to be friends with Alicia Fox. I did laugh pretty hard when Alicia Fox was flipping out.
I was like, oh, okay, now she's doing the goofy shit again.
She was doing her flip out mode, but that's not what I laughed at. What I laughed at was when she threw the box and it hit Nia Jax in the face, and Alicia Fox immediately broke character. She was like, oh shit. I mean, what are you gonna do about it? And then she starts flipping out some more, and then Nia pushed her.
I thought that was just part of the character,
No.
but I thought it was like
She was like, oh shit, I accidentally hit you.
I thought it was because Alicia Fox has done stupid stuff before where she's acting psycho, but she's not going to really hit anyone. So
I'm crazy.
I thought it was part of a character.
I'm crazy. Look at how crazy I am. I'm throwing stuff and
So I was like,
pouring water bottles and stuff.
You're about to get your ass whooped.
But yeah, I mean, I saw she was flipping out and doing all her little thing, and I'm like, okay, that's cute.
Get back
But then
here,
she picks up the little donut box or whatever it was and throws it and hits Nia Jax directly in the face, and you see Alicia's hands go up like oh my gosh, are you okay? But then she immediately, like as soon as she got her hands up, she was like, oh wait, I'm on TV. Puts her hands back down, and then Nia pushes her.
I don't know. I wish I saw it that way.
Oh dude, I saw it. I thought that was great. So it looks like we're gonna see the destruction of Alicia Fox, followed by probably Summer Rae. Another local talent going up against Bo Dallas. So it looks like they're going to give Bo a chance.
They were super silent for that match.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's, I get it.
So it's like
they're trying to give him another chance.
And Bo.
Yeah. It's time to believe in Bo again.
Bobo.
That's right. One of the positives, got to see Bayley versus Charlotte. That was a fine match.
So now...
And Charlotte slaps Dana Brooke after
Bayley's biggest fan, that girl, is now going to become like sign guy, and like all those other people.
Does that little girl not have school?
How's
she traveling so much? Although I think that might have been a different girl. That wasn't the same girl because I think she lives in Florida. Pretty sure.
Well,
you can have many girls wearing a Bayley shirt and the hair and the side ponytail.
We'll see next week. It's the same one in the crowd or whatever. It's like it's a different girl who travels.
Because it's going to be sort of how like they did with Rey Mysterio. All the little kids on the sides will have the little Rey Mysterio.
Well, that's probably different kids in each city, or they place kids.
I don't think this is the same kid.
No.
I think for her debut on Raw, it was.
Yeah.
After that, it's just whoever happens to be on the side. Because she goes out and does a little slap.
You think it'll work if we dress Noah up in that? And he's like the little Bayley.
I think it's worth a try.
Yeah.
Yes. What are your thoughts on this Charlotte and Dana on again, off again, whatever it is?
I don't know what they're getting at. I don't know if they're.
Are they trying to turn Dana face? Are they just trying to split them up?
I don't think they're trying to split up. Really, that's what I think. I really do not care.
Yeah.
But I think they're going to let her just let Dana go and let her be in her own thing, fighting other women. Don't be with Charlotte. I don't know.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Another positive, Seth Rollins going up against Chris Jericho. That was a fine matchup.
Triple H wasn't at Raw at all, right?
No, he was not. He was mentioned.
Did they address the whole thing? Like, cause I mean, certain things like, Triple H is on my side.
Yeah, it was in the opening segment. Rollins comes out because they have a celebration for Kevin Owens. He's so happy he's the champ. He deserved it.
I missed the first part. The only thing I saw there kept on showing out through Raw was like the end part.
Yeah.
Or like your architect for your plans. I don't know. I forgot what he said.
Yeah. But it was Foley, Stephanie, and Owens. They come out, have a big celebration. Rollins comes out and is like, what the hell? Like, I've been, I've been working with you guys for so long. You're going to do that to me? Like, that's bull. Like, he even called her out. He was like, bull crap. That is bull crap. You're lying to me. You knew about it. And, she got pissed off. She was like, no, I had no clue that was going to happen. She's playing that angle. And Mick Foley, they had a segment before Raw even started where he questioned her, and it was like, 20 years ago after I got thrown off of a cell, I saw this, shy smiled girl and all that, and basically just referencing the past, be like, I've known you for a long time. I've never known you to be a liar. So are you lying to me right now? Because if so, that would make you a very bad person. We've known each other for a really long time. Don't do that, And so she basically said, no, I'm not lying to you. So he believed her, and he was like, okay, well, I've got your back then. So
I'll talk to my husband tonight when I'm in bed with him.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you live with the guy, so you could probably afford to give us some answers.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Seth Rollins versus Chris Jericho. Seth Rollins picks up the W.
I wonder what Doug thinks about that. But do you like the chemistry with Owens and with Jericho and stuff? You're my best friend. You got my back.
I do, and it's good because you can have that ongoing friendship without both of them being on each other's coattails during the matches. Mm-hmm. Like every once in a while, have them show up and, hey, that's my friend you're dealing with, and have whatever and have a backstage segment or two. That's completely fine. I'm totally fine with that. I have no issues. So, yeah.
I still like his attitude. I like the facial hair with the scarf.
With the scarf coming out. He knows what's up. It. That's right.
Do it.
What is it? It's it. What is it? You want... Anyways, got to see the third match, Sheamus versus Cesaro. I was really surprised that they gave Sheamus the win.
Yeah, so now they're going to have it where it's like he's going to come back the next few matches.
He's got a 3-0 lead, Sheamus, and we actually have a bit of an update on that because they had their fourth match today. They went over to the UK, and that match has already happened, which I find very odd. Match 4 has happened in the UK. Cesaro picked up the win, so now it's 3-1. So possibly the comeback has begun.
There's a lot of hot rumors.
Yeah,
on the internet, which that we shouldn't list to the internet. Yeah. But either Cesaro can come back and win, or he may not. He may not win because there is rumors that his contract may be coming up and he doesn't want to resign. I think there's a lot of people on their hands. I mean, there's a lot of people who don't have time. They have a lot of time on their hands, and they like to say stuff, and they don't know facts. We don't know if that's true.
I certainly don't. So
I want Cesaro to stay there forever.
Yeah. I'd want him to stay there
if he's happy.
As long as he's happy and as long as he gets an opportunity.
Oh, for sure.
Because that's a hard thing to come by these days. But, I mean, he is on TV. He is in the best of 7, so
you getting that money.
Making that money, yeah. Shining Stars going up against Enzo and Cass.
Are you trying to sell me some timeshares?
Selling timeshares and giving birth. So that was kind of weird. It was a nice surprise seeing the Shining Stars.
How you doing?
It was a nice surprise seeing the Shining Stars get the win.
Yeah.
Enzo and Cass, it's a team where they can afford a loss, and Shining Stars
I guess it's
really
the next
needed the
feud.
win. It might be. I mean, it could be
feud.
it could just be a mini feud, a couple weeks.
How you doing?
Go from there.
Hey, you know where you should go?
Puerto Rico.
Yeah, come to Puerto Rico. Because we have Awesome food.
Awesome food, beautiful women, nice beaches.
Yes.
What more could you ask for?
Yeah, money.
If I were to go anywhere that I've already been to before for a vacation, I would definitely go back to the Cayman Islands because that place was awesome. I mean, just awesome.
That's the one where your name's at? Your name's like on a bench?
No, that was in Cozumel.
It would always stay there.
Yeah.
Forever.
Huh?
It will be there forever.
Until someone notices it or if it fades out. Yeah. Went to Jamaica, went to Grand Cayman, which that was the best day, and then we went to Cozumel. Really good time. Highly recommend going on a cruise if you've never been on one.
Go to Hawaii.
Hey, if you want to go to Hawaii, go to Hawaii. Do what you want to do. I'm not your mother. So, Shining Stars got the win. The Darren Young and Titus thing continues as Darren Young defeated Jinder Mahal. So I guess they brought Jinder Mahal in just as an enhancement talent.
Oh, for sure.
Which, I mean, whatever. He signed the contract, so he had to know what he was getting into.
Yep.
Then we got to see another matchup between Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Can't go wrong with that. These guys, we know the chemistry. We know the matches. They do a fine job. The thing that kind of struck me as odd was Roman Reigns coming down. He waited, 3 hours to make his presence known instead of coming out like Seth Rollins did.
I was in the restroom the whole time.
Yeah, I was stuck in traffic. But I mean, I get it. Whatever. So Mick Foley came out and said, "Hey, I totally get why you're out here. You got screwed out of the title as well. So here's what we're going to do. If you defeat Kevin Owens next week, you'll be added to the title match, and we'll have ourselves
what's going to happen.
We'll have ourselves a triple threat match, playa.
It's going to be a triple threat match.
I hope
bet
not.
No, I feel like that's going to happen.
Yeah, because they're in the transition for Seth Rollins. I'm not sure if he's going to be a face or if he's going to be heel, because he came out, he got a face reaction. He kind of talked heel-ish, but also sympathetic to his cause. So
I hope that match in the pay-per-view, if it's all three or whatever, I hope that, and I feel like Triple H is going to get involved.
Yeah.
Involved, not evolved. Involved.
It's all evolution.
Evolution.
That's right. So who knows? We'll have to see.
Who knows?
Not me. That's for sure. But that pretty much wrapped up Raw. SmackDown, it was all right. It's had some good things, some bad things. The opening segment, Daniel Bryan. Did you get to watch SmackDown?
Yeah, but I didn't watch the opening segment.
I'll be honest. I recorded SmackDown and I pretty much fast forwarded through this segment. For whatever reason, it didn't have any interest to me.
What do you say?
I don't know. I fast forwarded through it.
Oh,
that's what I'm saying. Like, it didn't really interest me that much. He called out one of the ladies. They came out and he called out Becky Lynch, who was then interrupted by Natalya, who was then interrupted by Alexa Bliss, whose microphone wasn't working, who was then interrupted by Carmella, who was then interrupted by Naomi, who was then interrupted by Nikki Bella. So it was just like, dude, just bring them all out rather than waiting for them to interrupt one another.
Nope.
No, it was not the case. So they set up a 3-on-3 match for later in the evening. But they did announce that the match at Backlash is going to be it's a 6-pack challenge, but it's also elimination style. So it'll give them a little bit more time, which will be good. Although I expect a couple of the eliminations to be fairly quick. Like they'll probably do like a finisher, pin kind of thing. Finisher, pin. Anyways, and then they got a backstage segment with Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon, who talks to The Miz. Miz is like, I'm unhappy, and
the heat they had with The Miz and Daniel Bryan
completely
gone last week on SmackDown instantly with the Ziggler stuff. So now I know they keep on replaying it in segments of stuff with like The Miz and that Daniel Bryan stuff, but it doesn't hold with me anymore. It's like it doesn't work anymore.
Now it seems hokey.
Yeah, you fucked it up.
Yep. They had a chance to strike while the iron is hot, and instead they just poured cold water on it. So I'm like, nah, we don't need that.
Well, it's too hot, you know.
Yeah, it is too hot. Too much. So so then they had a match between Miz and Apollo Crews. Ziggler was on commentary. I don't know. I mean, Ziggler did an okay job, but I felt like it was a little bit distracting.
He was hyping up Miz.
Yeah,
though.
he was definitely hyping him up. Miz ended up getting the victory. We saw a Bray Wyatt promo doing his stuff, whatever.
Run.
Yeah, it's another typical promo from Bray Wyatt. Like, he's lost the allure because he's lost so many matches to me. You know, do you feel that way too? Like, there's not. I mean, it's cool that he gets to cut these kind of promos. And
You said he lost too many matches to you, so you beat him?
Yes, I've beaten Bray Wyatt on WWE 2K16. But no, it's just it's another one of the things that we were talking about, like Miz. You know, they had an opportunity to strike while the iron hot. It was hot. They let it cool down. They gave Bray Wyatt way too many losses. To have a faction the size that he did, he should not have been losing matches.
I don't think they know what to do with him.
No. And then, so now you've got a returning Randy Orton who lost to Brock Lesnar. And, okay, so now he's going up against Bray Wyatt. And we'll talk about this a little bit more in our Backlash predictions. So are you going to have Orton lose for the second pay-per-view in a row? Or are you going to have Wyatt lose, who's lost damn near everything?
You're going to have Wyatt lose. So Orton can look strong going into fighting Brock Lesnar.
Whatever. Yeah. Then they had the six women tag match where Natalya, Alexa Bliss, and Carmella got the win. I was very surprised that they had Carmella make Nikki tap out. That was a nice turn.
Make her look good.
Yeah.
And strong.
We got to see the tag team tournament advancement between American Alpha and Usos. Very short matchup.
You predicted another thing.
With the American Alpha getting the win. Actually, I think this one was Doug saying the Usos turn heel. I think. And sure enough, it happened.
When did Chad Gable injure himself?
He didn't. It was the Usos who injured him.
When they attacked him, or when he was trying to...
They attacked him, and one of the Usos held Gable while the other Uso did a super kick to the back of his leg or whatever. And then they held him down as they did the big splash from the top rope onto the leg. So that's what they're going with. They're saying it was a bruised MCL, not tear, so he's not going to be out, but
bruised ego,
to where it's enough that they're not going to be in the match. So the Usos officially turning, which I'm fine with. I'll be curious to see if they still wear their colorful shirts or if they change it up a little bit.
We're not going to do our tribal dance or put all this stuff on because we don't give a shit about the audience.
Yeah, and they even pretty much addressed that later on, saying, hey, man, you guys have been cheering us for however long, but then y'all started booing us. The second American Alpha walked in. Well, there's a reason. There's your reason to boo us. We just took out American Alpha. You're welcome. Boo away.
Suck it.
Yeah. When we say booze, you say no. Booze.
No.
Okay. There you go. Say no to alcohol, kids. Booze. Anyways. Fandango got choke-slammed by Kane. That was dumb.
Another stupid shit. Well, even though I laughed, though, whenever, he got that girl in there. It's no, you're doing it wrong. I like how he talks. I like how... I just wish they would let...
that sleazy kind of guy.
Yeah. I just wish they would let Breezango just shine. They're not going to.
Nah.
But, why does Kane have to come back and, run over people?
Because he's Kane, by God. He's a demon.
Whatever.
Are you excited to see Kurt Hawkins next week?
Not really.
He debuts.
Not really.
Fact. Tyler is not anticipating Kurt Hawkins.
Yeah.
What are they going to do with him?
He may win.
He might.
He may lose.
He probably will.
Okay.
After that, we got to see Heath Slater and Rhino go up against the Hype Bros for the tag team tournament.
Oh, did you see that exclusive Facebook exclusive?
I did not.
With his kids and stuff. I watched that.
Was it funny?
Yeah, it was all right. There was some. I don't think it's his kids. I don't think he has kids. I mean, he may have kids, but I don't know.
Not those kids.
Yeah.
Someone else's kids.
He remembered the names, and it was funny on certain things. But there's this one girl what's her name again? He couldn't remember her name.
That's funny.
But I don't know. Then he was like, "Man, thank you, Rhino." And what do you got to say, Rhino? And he goes, "I hate kids."
And now he's running for political.
Oh man, that video was hilarious.
That was
with Kurt Angle.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm Kurt Angle, Olympic gold medalist. Will you be voting for what's his name? Terry.
Yeah, Rhino. Just say Rhino.
I'm not for sure yet. What?
I'm gonna break your ankle.
Yeah. Don't let this happen to you.
How dare you?
Vote for Rhino.
Vote for Rhino. It's that simple. I like the dynamic of Heath Slater and Rhino. Heath Slater goes in, tries to do the work, gets his ass handed to him. Rhino tags in, gore, 1, 2, 3. That's it. You're done.
So who's replacing the American Alpha?
What they're going to do during Backlash, and we'll talk about this in our predictions, they're going to have the Hype Bros go up against the Usos, and the winner of that faces Heath Slater and Rhino for the tag
I was
team
like,
title.
whoa, just Heath Slater?
Heath Slater,
Wow.
yeah. 2-on-1 handicap. He's got to earn it.
Now, we'll talk about it later when we get into it.
Okay. Yeah, we're almost there. So the final thing on SmackDown, we got to see the face-to-face between Dean Ambrose and the face that runs the place, AJ Styles.
How great was that? He just straight up kicked him in the nuts.
Now, we'll give credit to Dean Ambrose. He cut one hell of a promo. That was some good talking.
You like that paranoid aspect of AJ Styles through the whole SmackDown, or not really? You taking a picture of me? Oh, it's a picture of family. He throws that phone.
That was kind of funny. Yeah, the whole whenever he was at the desk with Renee and he calls the stagehand over and he's like, oh, if you show that clip again, I'm gonna break your headphones and
beat your ass.
That's gonna cost you money and you're not gonna like that and you're gonna get in trouble. That seemed a little meh. Yeah. I hope they don't do it too much because it's already kind of over the top.
Mm-hmm.
I just hope they don't try and turn it up.
I think
even
that was
more.
that was of just this week. I don't think he was doing that shit last week.
Mm-mm. Well, I mean, he'd walk around, I'm the face that runs the place and all that, but now they're like,
you're the face
you
that's
can't
second place.
You can't paint me in a negative manner. But one thing I didn't like about the Dean Ambrose promo was the bowling trophy. It was too comedic. Dude, you're the champion. We get it that you're a lunatic and you're unstable and you're crazy and all that. But come on, man.
You don't know what he's gonna do. He's crazy and wacky.
Wacky and crazy. But whatever. Yeah, it was a nice growing kick. So that pretty much wraps up SmackDown. And with that being said, we got to hear those picks.
We've got to hear those picks. We've got to hear those dicks.
No, none of that.
You can't hear dicks.
So Backlash taking place this Sunday on the WWE Network. SmackDown exclusive with the list of matches. Only 6 matches listed so far. So I'm kind of wondering, is this going to be a 2-hour pay-per-view or are they going to try and stretch it out to 3? Because if it's going to be 3, good God, they're going to have to make some more announcements to matches or they're going to have a crap ton of filler.
Breaking news, we're going to have some Raw Superstars on the SmackDown pay-per-view.
Lord, that's just what we need. That's one of the things that have pissed me off that they've been doing, having Raw Superstars for the dark match.
Dark match,
yeah. That's so stupid. No, you don't do that. Get your own talent over.
Yeah, get out of here.
Go on, get.
Whatever. I don't care.
So let's take this down one match at a time, shall we?
Okay, one match at a time.
Miz versus Dolph Ziggler Intercontinental title. They've completely taken all of the steam out of the Miz for what could have been.
Took all the steam out of Ziggler.
Yeah.
Shit.
I mean, he's trying, though. But he's trying. Miz is trying.
What was that on SmackDown, too? It was like he backed out and out of the ring and Maurice got the title. And then you heard Ziggler like, you're a coward.
Yeah.
You're a coward. And he didn't go, oh, I'm a coward. I'm a coward?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no.
I feel like this is going to be one of those situations where Maurice gets involved in the match. And depending on if she gets ejected or not, that's probably going to determine the outcome of the match.
I'm not expecting anything to catch my attention in this match. I'm going to watch it, but stuff that they did with Ziggler and then both those storylines with both those guys before this just let me down.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We're gonna see how it goes. It may be good. I don't know.
Who are you going to pick to win?
I'm gonna stick with the Miz.
Yeah. Doug is picking the Miz as well, and I will do the same.
Just stick with Ziggler losing again.
Yeah, and even on Talking Smack, Dolph Ziggler went on there and like completely put the Miz over. Like, he's held that title for so long, and he still does everything that needs to be done that he's asked to, and so really strange that he put him over like that. Next matchup, we'll talk about Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt.
Randy Orton.
Orton to win?
Like I said, just because he needs to go. I don't know when that event is where he's versus Brock Lesnar. Mm-hmm. Looking strong going into.
It's a Chicago house show, basically.
They promoted it though,
but it's not televised. And
unless they put it on the network on a special house.
I would almost be willing to bet this match ends in a disqualification. If they have this match, and it's going to be a straight up one-on-one match, it's going to end in a DQ. Like, Orton's probably going to deliver a low blow. It's going to end in DQ
or end at DQ?
At DQ.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's a street fight. It can go anywhere.
Yeah.
Doug's picking Bray Wyatt to get the win. So you're going to stick to your guns, Randy Orton? All right.
Sticking to my guns.
Wow, you just kissed your guns.
Yeah.
I'm going to pick Bray Wyatt. I feel like he needs the win a lot more. This could be a chance for Orton to put over a different talent.
All I know is that Jimmy cracked corn, and I don't care.
Oh, shit, then. And here's another reason why I'm picking Bray Wyatt. This match has no meaning.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So whenever it doesn't mean anything, why don't pick up the win? If there's something involved, like putting the right guy over between himself and John Cena, or a title match, or anything of that nature, it's going to drop it.
What should happen is Bray should win.
He should win, yes. And I think he's going to.
Don't have that feeling at all.
This particular time. Usos versus the Hype Bros. Winner advances to face Slater and Rhino. Doug is picking the Hype Bros. It's very interesting. To be honest, I was thinking he'd pick the Usos.
I'm going to pick the Usos.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if it's a storyline that Gable's out or whatever.
Yeah, it's storyline.
Oh, storyline's not legit?
No. It's a way to not have American Alpha win the titles, but the crowd be okay with it. And it doesn't make American Alpha look weak. Because Shane announced, he's only going to be out for a couple of weeks, which is enough time to crown a champion, do what they need to do, and then American Alpha comes back, seeks revenge after the Usos.
Yeah, I'll go with Hype Bros.
Hype Bros? Okay. Part of me wants to pick the Hype Bros, and I'll tell you why. Because the Usos are starting to establish themselves as heels. So they lost against American Alpha and immediately attacked them afterwards, injuring them to the point where they couldn't compete. So you have the Hype Bros get the win. Usos, get frustrated, take out their aggression on the Hype Bros, injure them, take them out for a week or two, and then you can have the Usos either advance automatically, or you have them get the win, cleanly in advance, or they could cheat to win.
Because I don't know, now I'm confused. Because I don't see also, we're going to have Rhino and
Heath Slater
versus the Hype Bros again?
Yeah. And that's why I'm thinking that the Usos, however they do it, that they advance to the finals.
I'd change the Usos.
I'm thinking maybe the Hype Bros win and the Usos take them out, and Shane and Daniel Bryan are like, well, we don't have anyone else to put in, so the Usos, by default, advance. Because they did it this week on SmackDown.
Yeah.
And I think that would be some really interesting storytelling. Like, what's the more compelling story? To have the Hype Bros win, advance, and lose to Heath Slater and Rhino, or to have the Usos win, advance, and lose to Heath Slater and Usos, or have Hype Bros win, get taken out by the Usos, again, the second team that Usos have taken out in the same week, Usos advance to the finals, and then whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, that's good.
I think that's the more compelling story. So I might see, and it's hard to word it to where I end up walking out a winner on this one. I want to say that the finals is Heath Slater and Rhino going up against the Usos. But who wins the matchup between Hype Bros and Usos? That's what's throwing me off. So do I say the Usos win, or do the Hype Bros win and Usos take them out? That's where I am.
I'm going to go Usos.
Yeah? All right. I'm going to go with the Hype Bros and then say Usos take them out. That's just some fantasy booking going on in my head.
Seafood dinner.
And then never call them again. So, yeah. So sorry for the listeners if I thoroughly confused you on that one. So that's going to take us into Heath Slater and Rhino versus the Usos or Hype Bros, depending on who you pick. So, and it should be reminded that if Heath Slater and Rhino win, then Heath Slater gets a contract to SmackDown. And I think this is the perfect opportunity to let the comedy shtick of Heath Slater trying to be a free agent. This is a good opportunity to end it, because the crowd has gotten behind him. They've supported him. They're fans. The fans are coming out for him.
They're like, no, we're gonna keep this shit
we'll
going.
do it. We'll do it in like 3 weeks. Like when it doesn't matter. We'll just have a throwaway match on SmackDown. Hey, if you beat this guy, then you win. But this is the swan song. I feel like you have Heath Slater and Rhino win the tag team titles, regardless of who advances.
I agree. I'll pick them.
And Doug is picking Slater and Rhino as well. So that takes us into the 6-pack challenge, elimination challenge for the Women's SmackDown Championship. Becky Lynch, Nikki Bella, Naomi, Alexa Bliss, Natalya, Carmella. So, and it's going to be elimination style. So it could really come down to anybody being the final two. I'm torn between Nikki Bella and Becky Lynch.
Becky Lynch.
Yeah, you think so?
Yes.
You have Becky Lynch win, and then Nikki Bella turns on her, and then Naomi turns on her. Everyone turns on Becky Lynch.
What's her? Carmella's gonna screw Nikki over,
and then moonwalk on out of there.
Yep.
Yeah.
With her Nikki Azalea ripoff music.
I think it's a good way to advance a feud between Nikki and Carmella. Have Carmella cheat to eliminate Nikki Bella. Becky Lynch comes up with the win.
The win, and becomes
the first ever SmackDown Women's Champion. Let's see, who did Doug pick? He picked Becky Lynch. So you're picking Becky as well?
Yes.
Okay, just want to make sure. So we're all unanimous on that one. Final matchup, Dean Ambrose versus AJ Styles for the WWE World Championship.
I think AJ's going to take it.
AJ?
Yeah.
That's who you're going with?
Yes.
Interesting. Doug's going with Dean. I'm going to go with Dean as well. So, so that's going to do it. I got to say, those were some great picks.
Those were some great picks. Those were some great picks.
Thank you very much.
For what?
You're listening to an exclusive interview on WNS.
Okay, folks, joining us on the show at this time, former WWE Superstar, the one and only Cody Rhodes. Cody, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you very much for having me.
We appreciate you coming on. For all information on Cody Rhodes, you can follow him on Twitter at Cody Rhodes, or you can go on to Facebook, facebook.com/official Cody Rhodes. So, haven't seen you on TV in a while. So, first off, thank you for coming on to the show, and how have you been?
I've been doing really, really well. I made myself quite busy. Once I got my freedom from the WWE schedule that I was on, and it's been quite a ride so far. So I've been really well.
Very good. And actually, after your departure from WWE, on your Twitter account, you released a photo of a special list containing some of the wrestlers you'd like to compete against. First part of the question, how does it feel getting to cross some of those names off of your list? And second part, are we going to be seeing any new names added to that list?
That's a great question. I think I have kind of in my mind, I have like mental amendments on the original list. I didn't expect the list to really go like gangbusters like it did, and you can never really top the original. I mean, there's some sequels who have done it. There's Empire Strikes Back, but I mean, like the original list is really special. Looking back at it, I wish I had included some names. And like I said, those are my mental amendments, names like Kenny Omega, for example, some of the British independent talent that's kind of just dominating wrestling currently, Marty Scurll, Zack Sabre Jr., Will Ospreay, like those cats. But those are my mental amendments. So there's another list. It's just in my mind.
That'll be your Greatest Hits Volume 2.
Right, there you go. Hey, I mean, that's way better than saying like a sequel. They're all greatest hits, right?
So you got your start kind of in OVW, which was at the time WWE's developmental. Then you went straight to WWE. So a lot of the wrestlers today wrestle on the independent circuit, trying to get to WWE, where you've sort of done the opposite. So now that you're familiar with the style of which WWE conducts their matches, now you've sort of gotten a taste of the independent style. How do they differ to you? Is one more exciting than the other? Do you feel less safe, more demanding?
I think I don't really look at them as contrasting styles, and I don't mean to like insult. They are very different. TV wrestling with WWE versus perhaps an independent wrestling show like PWG. They're very different, but it's not the styles that it's for me to adjust to. It's actually the talent themselves. With like the like the inception of NXT, developmental became much less about building their own talents at WWE, and it became about maximizing on independent and international talents that already had this, flair about them, this built-in equity. So the contrast in style so much isn't, I don't find one style safer or not safe, or one, I don't even find them different as much as the talents currently, like this past weekend at PWG's Battle of Los Angeles. Those talents, I would put them up against any roster in the world. I mean, old to young, as far as like Jushin Liger being part of that roster. I mean, they are they're putting on matches that I think are superior than anything you're seeing on television, that being with Raw or SmackDown. I think, and the best part is I think you'll see them eventually on Raw or SmackDown, because that right now is where the recruiting is happening.
Absolutely. Some of them taking place in the Cruiserweight Classic, some going to NXT, some going up to the main roster. So it's really cool to, like, if someone had come up to me a couple of years ago and say, hey, this guy's going to be in WWE programming, all of these guys are going to be fluctuating between Evolve and NXT, and you're going to see this guy get called up, you're going to see that guy get called up, I would have thought you were crazy. Like, it's been an insane shift in the past year in wrestling.
Well, the demand is different. The audience, it's not 1985 anymore, and you cannot tell the audience exactly what they want. You can try to lead them along, but the audience has more control now in pro wrestling and in sports entertainment than they ever did. You cannot tell them something is really, really good when it's not. That's where you run into those situations where you've got a charitable guy who's always smiling and should be nothing but a good guy, and they're booing him out of the building because he's not that authentic, genuine wrestler that you're presenting him as. Whereas the places you're seeing these folks now, Cedric Alexander, for example, those people are too talented to be held back by size, by any number of things that might have in the past held you back from making it to a Monday Night Raw or a SmackDown or hell, a WrestleMania.
Absolutely, and it's certainly going to be an even more interesting year in the wrestling world as all of these new talents start to emerge in the eyes of the casual WWE fan. But going back to you, there was a report that came out this past weekend that we might be seeing you in Ring of Honor and TNA. Is that something you can address? Is that something you could elaborate on?
Yeah, for sure. I can't speak to like specifics exactly, but I think I made the list, and if you look at the list, at the very top of the list, it wasn't prioritized, but the name at the top is obviously the first name that I thought of, that being Adam Cole. And Adam Cole makes his home in Ring of Honor, and I'm a massive fan of Ring of Honor. I drove up and down the roads with Daniel Bryan and Cesaro and got to really know Kevin Owens. And, you know, my last few years with WWE, those guys, their admiration for Ring of Honor and what they were able to accomplish there built them to the level they were at in WWE. So, with that said, if you're on the list, like Adam Cole, I'm going to make the best efforts to get to where you are, and that doesn't exclude TNA, and it doesn't exclude Ring of Honor. If you look at TNA, with absolute studs like Moose, Mike Bennett, EC3, Trevor Lee, I mean, I could literally just yammer on and name a bunch of names. What the Hardys are doing there is exceptional. The thing about TNA is there's all this stigma around it that people are focusing so much on the business side of it. Well, who owns what and what's happening and paychecks and all this nonsense, when in reality, the in-ring product that they are delivering is of the highest quality, and you have these young guys. You're not just making it a haven for ex-WWE or broken down wrestlers. No, they're young, hungry son of a guns there, and like I said, if you're on the list, I'm going to make every effort I can to get to where you're at. That might be Ring of Honor, that might be TNA, that might be New Japan Pro Wrestling. I mean, currently, I'm signed on to do Final Battle December 2nd with Ring of Honor, Hammerstein Ballroom, and that just, it means the world to me to be part of the event and to be heavily featured on the event. Just when they came out with a graphic alone, it sure as hell means a lot to me. So hopefully there'll be more of that in the future.
Absolutely, and the fans are certainly gravitating towards you. You certainly got over with the crowd in your time in WWE. I mean, you were given many, many different tasks in your time with WWE, from teaming with Hardcore Harley, your time in Legacy, dashing Cody Rhodes, the Rhodes Scholars, teaming with your brother Goldust, and even Stardust. Everything that you were given in some form or fashion, you ended up winning over the crowd, whether you were playing the good guy or the villain. You know, can you talk a little bit about that? Was it just your work ethic, or was it, you know, do you just have that particular it factor? I mean, I don't want to stroke your ego too much or anything like that, but, you know, no. I was certainly a fan of yours.
Well, I mean, like, WWE is to some people the absolute end-all be-all in the wrestling game. It's the company that's able to do WrestleMania. It's a company that a lot of us grew up watching. So when you're in a position to be on that, you know, when you're in a position to be in that locker room, when you're handed something that maybe not be to your liking, that's the reason you get the paycheck every week. So you're gonna deliver. There's plenty of people, not just me, there who had high level of work ethic. The thing that I kind of prided myself on was taking things that might necessarily not or shouldn't work as well as they did and making them something bigger. Me and Daniel Bryan used to have this joke, and I'm trying to remember exactly how we our joke used to be, if you can't draw money, make it funny. And the easiest thing to do is do comedy. Especially, is to take anything that you're not too big of a fan of and make it silly. And I always tried to make stuff that, if I wasn't a fan of it, regardless, to make stuff not silly, but make it good, make it pro wrestling. Try my damnedest to not make anything that somebody would laugh at. Now, there are plenty of times that I've laughed at myself, that I've been laughed at, but taking something that is not supposed to be a contender and making it a contender is a damn good feeling. And I just thought at a certain juncture, I was tired of doing that, tired of making something out of something less. I kind of thought, well, what if I had been given something more? What could I have made of that? But all hindsight, and it's worked out for both parties. You know, they granted me my release in an amicable fashion, and it's because of that I'm able to do this tour I'm on now. So, you know, it's really worked out.
Very nice. And you know, one of the I just have to share this story with you because, you know, I would be sinned if I didn't. One of the long-standing jokes that we had during your time wearing the mask after Rey Mysterio broke your nose, Tyler would always make the joke, "Oh, what does he look like underneath that mask?" So just Just something, just turning, nothing into something and making it special. I mean, for God's sakes, your mustache got more attention than a lot of people in the WWE who try, It's just crazy.
The mustache was I don't know. People really liked it, and I liked it when we were out there. But then I remember you're walking through the airport and they have this kind of Charlie Chaplin dyed mustache, and unless you're a woman from the 70s or 80s, I don't think you really find that type of man sexy. I just kind of looked rather goofy. But you know what, people, it was kind of a head turner. So
it goes in phases. It goes in phases because beards are in, and then mustaches will be in, and then it'll be the goatee all over again, all that.
I hate it all. I hate it. The goatee thing, especially when I was growing up, the way guys were playing with the goatee and facial hair on their chin. But today, people treating growing a beard out like it's the most special thing ever. It's literally the laziest thing you can do. I'm not knocking anybody with a beard, but to treat it like it is just this burden and this chore and this thing that you should, you all you're doing by growing a beard is doing nothing. You just do nothing. So I don't think, and I might just be jealous because I don't really grow facial hair well. So maybe I just can't grow a beard.
No, it's just part of the grooming tips of being dashing.
Yeah, right. I'm still trying to preach.
Now there was actual talk about having possibly Stephen Amell return to the WWE, maybe have a WrestleMania moment between you as Stardust, with him being Green Arrow, maybe even a match. Was there anything to your knowledge that prevented it from happening? I mean, I know you're going to be appearing in season 5 of Arrow.
Yeah, no, I actually I haven't seen the episode. I haven't seen the episode myself, but it's the 3rd episode this season. They come back to air October 5th, and I know they're this season it's really kind of back to the streets for Arrow, and it's my episode. I was really proud of what we were able to put together. So I hope wrestling fans, if they're not Arrow fans, certainly become Arrow fans. I don't think with Steven, there was a particular Hell in a Cell match that was supposed to happen in Los Angeles. And it was kiboshed, and the way it was kiboshed was unfortunate because we'd already set up ring time, and we'd been told that's the direction we're going, and I'm used to things changing on the fly. When you have somebody kind of from that world, that's kind of a kicking the balls for them as to especially when there's no reason. I think, and I mean this is not an answer I was given, but WWE tends to define celebrity different than maybe my generation defined celebrity. I'm probably out of it more than I think, but I feel like the younger crowd's a little bit more on the cusp of pop culture, whereas WWE is pretty much hell-bent on their celebrities basically have to be 10 years out of their prime or bored as hell or just, no offense to any of these people. That's why I'm not naming their names, but I don't even think they realize they've hired some musicians back who have literally sang the same song that they sang on the original event they came to. I mean, they're literally just taking WWE's money and basically laughing at them. But yeah, so I always thought there would be some young upstart writer who would bust into that writer's room at WWE and kind of explain to the older crowd what's actually cool versus what's just plain lame. But that is yet to happen. So I don't know if they realize that Steven and the Berlanti universe and, the massive audience that all 4 of those shows on the CW have and the youth that watches them, that would be all about, because of the pageantry behind superheroes in general, would be all about, turning over and watching professional wrestling. I just, hey, though, they got Shaq. They got Shaq.
Yeah, they do have Shaq.
They got Shaq.
They got Flo Rida and Machine Gun Kelly and all that good stuff.
I'm not even going to name any names. I sat into the stage at WrestleMania 29 in New York after they had cut my match at the curtain. I sat under the stage and heard a guy sing a song that I had heard him sing on a previous show. So I just stewed under the stage and then realized that the pyro could have blown me up and got out of there.
Well, thank goodness that didn't happen. You mentioned the similarities between the heroes and wrestling. We've been a long-standing supporter of that debate, saying that there is a precise crossover between superheroes and wrestling, with the good guys being your all-time heroes and stuff like that. Even some of your ring attire has been influenced. You've had the Triforce from Legend of Zelda. You've had come out looking like Mr. Sinister from X-Men. Are you into comics, and if so, which ones are you into?
Yeah, no, I'm a lifelong DC Comics reader. I love Marvel too, and the X-Men being my probably favorite. With Batman nipping at it. I not as current as I'd like to be. I always say I'm about 6 months behind on like whatever the big crossover event. Like they just had Rebirth, and I'm behind on what's going on with Damian Wayne, and I love the character they've introduced with Damian Wayne. But no, I remain as close to comics as I was a diehard fan growing up. As close to comics as I can, because there's a lot of parallels, and I think it's a really cool world. That's why I just jumping for joy over the fact to be on a show that's centered around the Green Arrow. I think back to friggin' young me reading Longbow Hunters and Green Arrow being part of, just the Dark Knight Returns, and just in general, like, I've always loved comics. The Mr. Sinister cape ended up being pretty successful. I didn't think it would be, because on paper that thing looks really badass. In practice, it's very difficult to make like wire attachment, individual strands. That poor lady, I think she used little kids' lacrosse shoulder pads for that one. But hey, it's a good time.
Well, you pulled it off nicely, so major props to the costume designer. And like I said, it is well known you're a fan of The Legend of Zelda. Out of all the games that have come out in the 25 years of Legend of Zelda, which one has been your favorite, and what are your thoughts so far about the upcoming Breath of the Wild game?
So Breath of the Wild looks really great, but I'm in the minority on this one. I don't really like the cel-shaded Zeldas. I loved Wind Waker when I played it, but I grew up with the games, so you kind of want this adult version of The Legend of Zelda to eventually happen with voice acting and a modern day graphics engine showing you. But at the end of the day, Nintendo is making games for kids and families, and I have to not be selfish, and then usually I fall in love with these games anyways. I think my favorite game of all time is Ocarina of Time. I think it's the greatest game to ever come out, with Metal Gear Solid being probably a close second. I don't think there's a game better than that game. It stands the test of time now, and I know that all the other Zeldas influenced it, but that's the game that makes people wonder when's the next Zelda coming out every year. Is that first Nintendo 64 installment? So that's my favorite.
Yeah. One of the things that worries me about the video game for Legend of Zelda is like you mentioned, the voice acting. There's going to be so much hate on however they make Link sound that, it's probably wiser just to avoid it at this point.
Yeah, I mean, but you do have to move forward.
Yeah. In
some junctures, there was plenty of hate that Kiefer Sutherland was voicing, Big Boss, when it's clearly supposed to be David Hayter who's doing it forever and always. But it didn't stop that game from Phantom Pain is an exceptional game. I didn't mute it,
Yeah.
So.
Or Jared Leto as the Joker, after everyone saw Heath Ledger.
That's the thing. Like, you're not going to be Heath Ledger, but I felt like I was shocked at the amount of like people not liking Suicide Squad.
As was I
of all time, but I definitely thought it was cool to see an incarnation of the Joker that was a mob boss.
Yeah,
that was
definitely.
A gangster. That was cool. That was different. And yeah, you're playing the role after Heath Ledger, so it's got to be completely different. What else are you going to do?
It's tough.
I always in that argument the same way. When people ask me who's the best Joker, I just tell them Mark Hamill.
Thank you.
Joker.
Yes.
Yeah, I just say Mark Hamill and then just walk away. You're either solely into Jack Heath Ledger, his performance is just, you can't see a colorful Joker now because you saw such a dark Joker, and then you don't like Leto because it was such a departure from the look and, perhaps origins, I don't know, but Mark Hamill, you can never go wrong with Mark Hamill.
I mean, the guy's got Arkham in his name, so it was destiny.
Yeah.
Going back to wrestling a little bit, we always like to ask this question because you never know what to expect. Are there any fun on the road stories that you could share with us?
I think people have heard this story, but it's just one of my favorite moments ever, seeing kind of like a bodybuilder mentality shatter in front of you. When me and Daniel Bryan took Ryback to Panera. And he was so confused by the menu. There's a lot on the menu. So confused by the menu that he started sweating. And the young girl, part-time teenager, not so interested in her career at Panera, wasn't very friendly at the counter either. So it added to his almost panic attack, where he cut into Dan and I about, you guys can eat this stuff because you're 205 pounds, but I'm a grown ass man, he just laid into us in front of the entire store, and then when he turned around and asked her, well, do you have salads at least? She just looked at the back of the board where it clearly said in bold letters, salads, and when she just gave him a smug he took the cups and he just knocked all the cups over. And just stormed out of the store to only come back moments later and order a salad from a different teller there. And then he got like $60 worth of food, and then people would bring signs to shows that said Ryback hates Panera or Ryback fears Panera. It was just hilarious to me to see a man sweating over his frustrations, and then accuse me and Dan in our lighter size of being less of a man because we couldn't eat that Panera. But I love the Rybacks dearly, but that was one of my favorite moments of all time.
How dare you, sir, be a man of your size?
Yeah, no, he was pissed. He threw all those cups.
And one other question that we asked some of our longtime listeners if they wanted to chime in, and everyone responded with they would like to hear a story with you and your father.
Well, there's so many with Pop. I keep a lot of them closely guarded, but this was a cool little moment. It just kind of popped in my head. At WrestleMania in Atlanta, I think it was WrestleMania 27.
I believe so.
Yeah, I was wrestling against Rey Mysterio, and little known fact, it was not only my first singles match at a WrestleMania, it was my first singles match on a pay-per-view. I had been in tag team main events, I had been in a Hell in a Cell, I had been in this, but never a singles match. And I was, happy with the end result of the match, and had, I grew up in Marietta, Georgia, so we're essentially kind of in my hometown when we were in Atlanta, and I was talking afterwards, and I was standing next to Rey Mysterio after the match, and my dad just pulled his BlackBerry up, and I looked over the corner of my shoulder, and I saw him taking a picture of the two of us. And as the first time, I was like, he was a fan of mine. I'd always been such a fan of my dad's. And it was the first time I saw, wow, I made him a fan of mine, because, at the end of the day, we always just, you want to impress your dad. That's an important thing, and be like your dad. For most guys, Benny started doing that with everything. And one year, I'm having a private meeting with Big Show, and he just kicked down the door, and there's Rock and John Cena and me and Big Show in a private room, and here he comes just talking nonsense and how much better he is than everybody in the room. It was just some magical Dustyisms and stuff like that. But yeah, I always he did that every year at WrestleMania. After that, I'd catch him taking a picture of me, and I'd never tell him I caught him doing it. But it was always cool to see, all right, he likes what I'm doing.
One of those very special moments. Well, thank you very much for sharing that. Do you have any upcoming appearances or upcoming projects on the way? Well,
I put everything on my Twitter, because it's like it's madness. As far as like this weekend alone, starting Thursday, so starting tomorrow or today, tomorrow, whenever this airs, is a banner like weekend. Chris Hero, Friday night Brian Fury, Saturday night Pat Buck, the guy who had my first professional wrestling match 10 years later at his promotion, wrestling him. Sunday night, me and Johnny wrestling against Drew Galloway and Chris Hero for Evolve. And then, it just, the hits keep on coming the following weekend, working Tommaso in one of his last independent matches before he goes full-time with WWE, and then big-time wrestling. I put it all on my Twitter because it's hard for me to even keep up. My Twitter and my Facebook is where all the announcements are.
Awesome. And for all the info, like we said, follow Cody on Twitter at Cody Rhodes, or go to facebook.com/official Cody Rhodes. Just look for the little check mark. It's that simple. Cody Rhodes, we certainly appreciate your time. Thank you very much for coming on to our show.
Oh, no. Thank you very much for having me.
And time to go into hot topics. Certainly appreciated Cody Rhodes coming on the show. Thank you, everyone, once again for listening to the show. We certainly appreciate it. And if you liked what you've heard so far, make sure to give us a subscribe either on YouTube or on iTunes. Just search Wrestling News Source Podcast or WNS Podcast, all that good stuff. Time to go into some hot topics. As we mentioned earlier in the show, Jack Gallagher confirmed he's going to be coming to Raw as part of the Cruiserweight division.
Gallagher.
I'm so happy to see that. This weekend, Saturday, finally, at long last, the debut in the UFC for one CM Punk. I personally am excited for this matchup.
I'm excited and nervous.
Yeah, I know a lot of wrestling fans. They're very divided when it comes to this. Some want to see him succeed. A lot of them want to see him fail. A lot of the UFC fans want to see him fail because
a lot of the bets are going to not be in his favor.
He is the underdog.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping he goes out there.
Did you finish watching the Evolution of Punk?
I saw the first 3 episodes. I have not seen the fourth one yet.
There's 4?
There's 4 in all. And the fourth one's going to focus mostly between him and his opponent, Jackie Gall. I think that's his name. But anyways. Mickey Gall. Sorry, Jackie. Wow. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this matchup. Maybe we can all go to Buffalo Wild Wings on Saturday or something and check it out, because I know the wrestling world is going to probably be watching.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
The UFC fans are going to hope that he fails. And here's the thing. He's admitted numerous times, look, I get it. I'm only here because of my name. If I were just some Joe Schmo who wanted to be in the UFC, people would say, yeah, good luck with that kid. But because of his name, he gets the opportunity. He's not there to be arrogant about it. He's like, I get it. I totally understand. This is not fair to all the other MMA fighters in the world who have been wanting this chance, and I just walk in. It's like you're waiting in line at the club trying to get in the door, and they're like, oh, sorry, we're at max capacity. But then the celebrity shows up, and they're like, hey, come on in. You're like, dude, what the hell? So it's one of those situations. But this is it's something that he's wanted to do. He has the opportunity to do it. The UFC has given him the chance to do it. So you can't really hate CM Punk for that type of situation, because, it's what he wants to do, and he's been given the opportunity. So, best of luck to him. That's all I can say. How about you?
I hope he wins.
Yeah.
He deserves it.
Yeah, definitely. So, and if he doesn't, he doesn't. That's what it's all about. He just wants to say, I did it. So, So we'll have to see how it all plays out on Saturday. So now let's talk a little bit about some 2K17. Tyler, you had some news?
Not too much
regarding that.
Yeah, that trailer. By the time I said it's already going to be dropped.
Drop it.
A fun little little tiny story I read. I forgot who interviewed Xavier Woods, but
it was me.
Yeah, it was him. But he says, a funny little thing, he got a text message from Trent Beretta, if you remember him.
Where's Trent?
He goes, hey, sorry, dude. He's like, what are you sorry for? He goes, I was actually the one that's been mocap for your entrance for the New Day. And he goes, I cannot do you to save my life.
Hey, now.
And he watched it, but he said first, he was like, I'm pretty sure you did all right. He watched it back again. He goes, yeah, that's Trent Beretta. So if it looks a little bit off, now Trent Beretta did the mocap for Xavier Woods is dancing in his entrance. So,
see, why don't they just get the stars to do their own?
I wonder if they have a hectic schedule.
But still, it's, you take one day.
Well, I'm wondering if they got everyone, or if there's certain people they did mocap their stuff for.
Yeah.
Because I have a feeling, I could be wrong, but like they put some time and effort into. That's why I read Shinsuke stuff.
Yeah.
So I wonder if they got Shinsuke in, because what I read in the interviews from the people from, one of the guys who was interviewing one of the developers at the convention that just had the 2K thing they had like a few weekends ago, said that they are big fans of Shinsuke and Japan wrestling and stuff like that. So they were glad to get him in the game. So I think they got his entrance.
Very cool.
Capped it, but yeah.
Well, have to check it out.
Yeah.
I think there's already a video of their entrance, so go and check it out. So no Q&A for us this week, but is there anything else we forgot to talk about?
I don't know.
Go check out Cruiserweight Classic. It's getting ready to come to the end. Lucha Underground starting back up this week. So have to check that out whenever we get home.
We're still in season 2?
Season 3 starting.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, started tonight.
I'm so far behind.
Yeah, started tonight. So have to get back into that. Maybe we'll bring in some reviews once we get a chance. Who knows? We'll see. But thanks, everyone, again for listening. Make sure to submit your questions if you have for us on our YouTube channel, WNS Video, also our Facebook page, WNS Podcast. You can check us out on WrestlingNewsSource.com or WrestlingNewsSource.com on Facebook. You can also subscribe to our show on iTunes by searching Wrestling News Source Podcast.
We're on Stitcher, Beyond Pod, and Player.fm. Just search Wrestling News Source Podcast to find us.
And you can also follow us on Twitter at WNS Podcast. You can follow me on Twitter at WNS_Daniel. You can follow Tyler at Tyler_Abear. So there you go. Once again, big thanks to Cody Rhodes for coming on the show. Had an absolute blast. And for the podcast crew, I am Daniel Herron.
I'm Tyler Abear.
And we will catch you all next week.
Yes.